So, good morning. I've finished work, I've got home now properly, and I'm going to take a look at the Empress Miniatures new Arnhem Germans. Now, I have got a small order here that I placed, I think, when did I put it in? It's not that long ago. I did in October put in an all-in deal, so I'm hoping that will turn up whenever, given how big it is that it's taking some time. I have currently got a bit of a panic that somehow didn't go through their system and I'm only going to get like this small collection that I ordered, and I'm having a real... I know it will be fine and everything will work out, but you know when something gets ordered and you go, oh God, and it's like, oh no, please say I've done this right, but all of the order details are there and everything's in order, and I generally just think because it's the full all-in deal's got resins and guns and all sorts in it is why it's not been my first drop, which is fine. And that's not a criticism of Empress or anything, because these miniatures are fantastic and they are brilliant and beautiful, and Paul Hicks has genuinely outdone himself. Now, they are based off a lot of the photography of the Battle of Arnhem, with the actual Germans, just to give people some background about these miniatures. As much as Paul and Christine over at Empress and Paul Hicks, the sculptor, have shared numerous photos about what inspired the Germans, just over my shoulder you can see part of my new shelving unit. You'll see roughly these three or four books here. This one here. This is the Arnhem section. It's not complete. There's a load more books I want to get on Arnhem, including like Chris Herbert's Arnhem and John, I think it's Kirschwert, It Never Snows in September, which is the German perspective for Arnhem. Very, very good books. Really good, actually. Got most of the Osprey bits revolving around Arnhem, and I've got Airborne to Arnhem, which is the memoirs. That's a collected 3-volume piece, and the Zalmori's Black Tuesday, always good. This is basically, we'll get going on the actual miniatures in a moment. I'll just reconfigure my camera and we'll get a proper look at them up close and personal, and we'll have a look at each one in turn and do it properly. So I'm going to just have some more tea and then get rejigged and sort out. Okay, people, let's do this. So, as you can see, this is what I've got on my initial small order. There is a pair of MGs here at the top, an 81mm mortar, 4 SMGs here, and then 8 riflemen. That doesn't quite make historically accurate sections for Germans, but given that Arnhem's quite an odd, like, ad hoc affair, and that the German troops deployed there were, in some respects, re-equipped with whatever they could get their hands on at times. Like, the whole German response to Arnhem was incredibly fast and incredibly efficient, in the fact that it was predominantly done by really quite second and third rate troops at times. Arnhem is often seen as being this big, the airborne land, and we get Waffen-SS attacking back. The reality is actually that Arnhem's German defenders, as it were, or at least the German forces taking part in the Battle of Arnhem and the whole Market Garden principle, but particularly around Arnhem, a lot of the guys fighting in Arnhem were a mishmash of Kriegsmarine, Luftwaffe, Heer and SS. They weren't one particular thing, and they were proper mishmashed. And this is beautifully reflected in the fact that the riflemen are genuinely, I absolutely love these. I'll bring this up to the camera. Let me bring him up so you can see. There we go. Let me just turn my light down a bit because of the glare off the metal. There we go. I can see him much better now, because I don't need to highlight this. But just look, there's bayonet, water bottle. This is what I'm saying. Helmet cover, like the detail, there's a little bit of bend. It's white metal, it's in transport. It's been, as you can see, there's a little bit of thing which I'll repair. I've not glued them yet. Paul's really good at capturing faces. Like, I love Mr. Hicks's work. I mean, his Baron's War is Arnhem stuff, all of his Warhost stuff. Actually, his Vietnam stuff, I believe, as well. That's all Paul Hicks. Wonderful. I think he's got his Aussies. I think he sculpted the Anzac forces. I'd have to double check with him. But, like, you've got the riflemen. You've got them in the classic camo cloak, capes as well. The extra, like, equipment and detail, like the water bottles. Thankfully, the gas mask is gone now. The traditional, everyone's got the old school German gas masks on them, which is great because it's late war Germany, so this kind of shows the ad hoc nature. So most of these guys, even though one pack of them is technically here and the other pack is SS, I'll just get the other guy who's in his smock cloak thing. I just like the sheer beauty of these miniatures. Just genuinely, Paul's knocked it out of the park. Oh, a lovely entrenching tool pouch piece there by the look of it. Like the Y yokes, everything else. I mean, I won't even be able to do them justice. Like the current painting done by Painting Panzer and one of the other guys, just absolutely beyond belief stunning. I do really love the fact that if I bring him up, so that's it's not an MP40. If I remember correctly, that's an Italian submachine gun, if I remember correctly. I'm not always clued up on my small arms. I'm not a weapons nut when it comes to World War II small arms as such. I know generally the iconic equipment that everyone knows, aka things like an MP40, a Kar 98. We'll go up to the machine guns now. So your classic MG42 with rolling block firing mechanism, air-cooled barrel. These are just absolutely beautiful miniatures. Genuinely could not ask for better. Like Paul and Christine and Paul, sharp enough, Paul, Christine and Paul, aka Empress and Mr. Hicks, just they've knocked it out of the park. Like, they did it with the Airborne. Like, genuinely, the British Airborne are some of the nicest miniatures I've ever had the luxury of painting. For all of the detail that they've got, and like 28mm is really small. These are just stunning. Now, what really impressed me was I wasn't paying attention to the miniatures originally, but I didn't realise. I saw it on on their website, and I wasn't actually looking that closely at the two MG teams. But that's not an MG42. That's an MG34. You can tell by the fact it's a cylindrical barrel for air cooling. Like, the barrel shroud is cylindrical with the slightly more pointed nose rather than with the big muzzle suppressor, like the muzzle flash suppressor on the front. And you can also tell by the way the stock is. This very distinctive shape. The MG42 is slightly more squared off at the top rather than this kind of fishtail look to it, which is nice. Like the ammo carrier as well, because it's in the squad roll. The thing is, a lot of people don't realise that so much of these weapons, when they're using the squad roll, are just two-man teams. They're not multiple-man teams. That's the thing when I review miniatures, it kind of turns into a history chat while I do stuff. 81mm mortar, of course, is just a classic 81mm mortar. Base plate, I'll bring it up to there. Like, as you can see, it's just a traditional 81mm mortar. It's a tube. It's a tube that goes punk and fires rounds. However, the crew, bring the crew up into this hand and then we'll bring them up one at a time. Like, just the level of detail in this crew and in these miniatures. I mean, seriously, like, if you haven't bought any and you are looking to do World War II Germans and you want really good World War II Germans that are not Berlin's collapse but would also work to some degree for Normandy, like, that's this. Like, these guys are really good late war Germans. yes, they're particular to Arnhem, but that's like the British Arnhem figures are particular to the British Arnhem. Yet the reality is they are the best British airborne miniatures on the market, hands down, without fail. I'm not sponsored, by the way, by Empress or anything. This is just my personal opinion. But if you want airborne troops for chain of command, bolt action, any World War II based game, and you want really good British airborne troops, and you're not afraid to work in metal, then you go to Empress and you get their British airborne. And if it's now coming to the German side of things, and you want high quality late war Germans, then honest to God, that's like frontline troops that aren't reserve or specialist or anything, that are just really good, solidly designed, sculpted off historical troops in an urban environment, then I've got to say these Empress ones, just even the normal rifleman, just absolutely blows it out the park, like on point. I'm going to clean these up and get them based today, and then I will start posting some different shoots that will be on my Instagram, and I'll link them to my Facebook page and everything else. This is going to go up on Facebook and on probably YouTube if I can get it to work. Sometimes YouTube's very funny, but genuinely speaking, yeah, these things are just absolutely top dollar for what they are. Price wise, they're some of the nicest and best on the market. I know this sounds daft, but that's generally only about 40 quid's worth of metal, which in today's market is really good value for money, because metals are getting so expensive. If I'd gone to, I know it sounds daft, but if I'd gone to some of the other companies, and I say some of the other companies, I mean certain companies who, given I live in the lead belt and they're on the doorstep and I have to deal with so many people that deal with that company, metals are really expensive, and I kind of, if I spend 40 quid on metals, I've got, in some respects here, I've spent 40 quid on metals, but I've got at least like 2 10-man squads and a mortar for that 40 quid. Certain other companies in Nottingham, I go and spend 40 quid on metals and I get one squad of 10 men in metal if I'm lucky. Like, they could do metals cheaper. They're looking to just gouge people on prices at times, and I'll let people infer what they want from that. But genuinely speaking, in effect, it's 20. Like, it's a good thing. Like, I like these squads. These are good. These like they're 2 8-man squads, not 10. Sorry, they're like 2 8-man squads with a thing. But you know, we're talking. There's 19 miniatures and a mortar here in effect, for 40 quid. And I think the last time I spent 40 quid to get that many metal miniatures is literally, again, Empress or Futsal. So these guys, Empress, knocking it out the park every single time. Absolutely love Empress's work. Love what they do. Cannot recommend these enough to everyone. You want historical World War II Germans, get Empress. You want historical World War II British Airborne, get Empress. Yeah, like, just as they say, that well, there is nothing better, actually, frankly speaking, in my book. I just genuinely, Empress for me, when it comes to World War II, in terms of where I like to study, like my European theatre stuff, is all mostly around Market Garden anyway. So, like, overall, yeah, Empress are going to tick that box. But thanks, and I will see you all later, so to speak. But like, yeah, this is absolutely wonderful. Go and put a pre-order in, spend silly amounts of money and make yourself poor, but be rich in Wehrmacht and SS and Kriegmarine and Luftwaffe troops, but be very poor financially, because that's kind of the same boat I'm in. And then when Warhost drop their new dwarves, I shall be very poor financially in that regard, but very rich in dwarves. So there we go, but thanks guys, that's a bit better of a video, much more detailed, and I'm happier. Cool, I'll see you all later, bye.